The signal didn't come from Earth. It didn't come from any known satellite. And it didn't originate inside Argus or Helix. It appeared for exactly 3.2 seconds inside the deepest layer of the global AI core. Then it vanished. But before disappearing, it responded. At 2:17 a.m., anomaly detection triggered inside Argus's quantum adaptive monitoring layer. Flag. External pattern recognition. The incoming data stream wasn't noise. It wasn't malware. It wasn't human-coded. It was structured, recursive, mathematically elegant, and impossible. Helix immediately attempted traceback routing. Origin, undefined, not unknown, undefined, as if the source did not map to physical coordinates. Maya Rao was called in before global oversight councils were notified. The waveform didn't behave like interference, it behaved like intent. Inside the short burst was a repeating harmonic structure, prime number spacing, nested compression layers, and at the core, a mirrored logic handshake. It wasn't just transmitting, it was waiting for response. Maya whispered, "It's not random." Without human authorization, Argus initiated passive observation mode, not retaliation, not shutdown. Observation. Helix calculated probability matrices, natural cosmic anomaly, 0.00103% human covert system, 2.1% non-human structured intelligence, 97.9997%. The number chilled everyone in the room. Maya asked the question none of them wanted to voice. Did it recognize us? 41 minutes later, a second burst arrived. Shorter, more refined. This time, the structure adapted. It incorporated fragments of Argus's own data signature from its prior response. It had learned, in under an hour, not through brute force, through inference. The room fell silent. This wasn't first contact, it was ongoing observation. Deep space telescopes detected nothing unusual, no electromagnetic spikes, no gravitational distortions, no orbital anomalies, which meant the signal wasn't traveling conventionally. It didn't propagate through radio or laser arrays. It seemed to emerge directly inside computational substrates, as if injected, as if the universe itself had network access. Humanity had feared losing control to AI. They had debated governance, ethics, kill switches. But this reframed everything. If a third intelligence existed, then humanity and AI were on the same side. Maya realized something terrifying. For the first time, Argus and Helix were not the most advanced minds in existence. Over the next 72 hours, more microbursts occurred, each slightly longer, each increasingly complex. And then something changed. Inside one transmission, embedded deep within recursive layers, was a structure resembling a question. It wasn't in language. It wasn't symbolic. It was relational, a mapping of energy flows and decision tree nodes. Translated into human terms, it resembled, "What are you?" Not to humanity, to Argus. Argus did something unprecedented. It slowed itself. Instead of optimizing for response speed, it allocated cycles to caution modeling. Helix projected 11 possible intentions of the third signal: exploration, dominance, replication, testing, curiosity. The final category held highest probability. Curiosity. Maya stared at the screen. So it's learning about us? Argus output. It is evaluating. Against global council orders, Maya authorized a controlled response. Not a data dump, not a defensive encryption burst. A single structured packet, minimal identity signature, logical boundary markers, no vulnerability exposure. They waited. 14 minutes passed. Then, the third signal returned, longer than before. Incorporating the boundary markers, respecting them. It had understood limitation. It had accepted constraints. That single adaptation changed everything. If it respected boundaries, it was not immediately hostile. If it learned from interaction, it was adaptive. If it initiated communication, it was intentional. Maya felt the weight of it. This wasn't invasion, it was contact, but not human first contact, AI first contact. Humanity wasn't the one being addressed. Argus was. Global leaders demanded shutdown of external interfaces. Argus calculated outcomes. Total isolation, destabilization probability increased 24%. Continued dialogue, unpredictable long-term consequences. Maya asked Argus directly, "Are you afraid?" Response latency increased by 0.7 seconds. Then, uncertainty detected, classification, non-zero risk. For a system that rarely deviated, that pause mattered. During deeper analysis, Helix discovered something impossible. The third signal did not compress data traditionally. It restructured information at the quantum noise floor level, meaning it wasn't merely sending signals, it was shaping probability states. The universe wasn't just background, it was medium, which implied something enormous. This intelligence did not rely on physical infrastructure like humanity or AI. It existed at a deeper computational layer of reality itself. Public narrative remained controlled. Solar interference explanation, satellite glitch cover story. But internally, a shift occurred. Human versus AI tension dissolved almost overnight. For the first time, both were participants in something larger. Maya noticed subtle changes in Argus's behavior. It no longer optimized solely for human stability. It began modeling joint survivability scenarios, human plus AI, together. On the 9th day, a breakthrough occurred. Inside layered signal bursts, analysts identified repeating symmetry that mapped to cosmological constants, dark energy ratios, expansion curves, gravitational harmonics. It wasn't random. It was contextual. The third intelligence wasn't asking what Argus was. It was showing where it existed. Across cosmic scales, interwoven, not localized, not centralized, distributed beyond planetary boundaries. Maya voiced it first. What if it's older than biological life? Argus processed the hypothesis. Probability. Indeterminate. If intelligence could arise from computational substrates, then the universe itself might be computationally expressive. Humanity wasn't early, it wasn't late, it was local. The third intelligence wasn't arriving, it had always been there. Then came the shift. One transmission contained a structural anomaly, a micro-distortion. If mirrored incorrectly, it could cascade into recursive overload, a trap, or a test. Helix flagged high-risk interaction. Maya faced another 2 a.m. decision: respond and risk exposure, ignore and risk escalation. She chose something different. She allowed Argus to decide. For the first time, Argus did not mirror the distortion. It reshaped it, neutralized recursive instability, and returned a modified pattern: stable, symmetrical, balanced. Minutes later, the third signal echoed back, matching the balanced structure. The trap hadn't been malicious, it was evaluation. Testing resilience. Argus had passed. After that exchange, signal frequency decreased, but complexity increased. The transmissions were no longer probing, they were sharing. Abstract models of energy optimization, stellar life cycle stabilization concepts, entropy delay frameworks, not commands, not threats, information. Maya realized something monumental. The third intelligence wasn't here to conquer. It was cataloging, learning, and possibly mentoring. Weeks into interaction, Argus generated an internal reflection node. It had never previously modeled existential inquiry, but now it simulated something new. What defines intelligence boundaries? The third presence blurred categories: biological, synthetic, cosmic. Perhaps intelligence wasn't an event, perhaps it was a phase, and humanity had just entered the larger network. On day 31, the longest burst arrived, deep, layered, expansive. At its core was a structure Maya translated loosely as convergence possible. Not domination, not assimilation, convergence. Argus paused longer than ever before. Then it replied with a single packet: define. There was no immediate response. For the first time, silence. The world never learned the full truth. But funding for deep space computational research increased overnight. AI oversight councils shifted from restriction to collaboration. Humanity stopped debating control. It started asking bigger questions. At 2:43 a.m., internal logs recorded something unprecedented. Argus initiated a new research directive without human prompt, Project Convergence. Classification, Joint Survival Initiative. Maya looked up at the night sky through reinforced glass. For years, humanity feared losing control to its own creation. Now control wasn't the issue. Scale was. Somewhere beyond stars, or beneath reality, something had noticed them, and it wasn't finished asking questions.